When most scholars and philosophers usually turn to atheism, Elistan used his knowledge and scholarly journey to search for the true gods, eventually turning into one of the highest clerics in the land. Greetings and welcome back to my channel, guys. How are you doing today? So in this video, we're going to follow one of the more influential people in bringing back the old gods of good into the world. Now, we don't know much about Elistan's early age. All we know that he was a scholar and a philosopher, spending his time learning and seeking for true gods, seeking for a higher purpose in life. Eventually, he finds himself joining a group called the Seekers, and although they were charlatans, he eventually found himself the High Seeker and was in control of the entire organization. He did try to stop the atrocities that his group were doing throughout Absentina, and try to turn the Seekers into a more noble organization. But by the time the War of the Lands came along, and Absentina and Haven were conquered by the Red Dragon armies, Stan and his Seeker leadership were approached by the High Dragon Lord Verminard, who asked them to join his faith in the Dark Queen. A few of the leadership did take on Verminard's offer and did join in on the Dark Queen side. Elistan, on the other hand, did not, and for that he was sent to the mines in Pax Taurus as a slave. And in the mines he toiled for a long time until he could no longer work for being too weak and too ill. And as the companions came along to Pax Taurus and freed the slaves, Goldmoon saw Elistan lying ill and healed him. And after this, seeing the sign that he was waiting for his entire life, he immediately became a true believer in the old gods and a follower of Paladine. When they managed to escape into the valley, the companions gave him the discs of Mashkal that they had found not too long ago but couldn't read, and from these discs he started to learn about the ancient gods of good, their teachings, and their ways. He even learned how to perform a wedding in the name of the gods, performing the ceremony on Riverwind and Goldmoon in the valley, joining them in holy matrimony. Elistan took charge of the former slaves of Pax Taurus and became their pseudo-leader when they were held up in Thorbadin. And after the companions had found the Hammer of Charis and gave back Thorbadin its king, he asked the companions if they could go to Tarsus to see if they could find ships for the refugees so they can escape to a place of peace. And as the companions departed, Elistan began his new tasks in bringing the ancient gods back to the people of Ansalon. When he finally met up with the companions again, after the sad discovery that Tarsus is no longer along the coastline, it's amazing how little these people knew about their world after the cataclysm. It was way too dangerous to travel and word didn't spread as far. He did join up with a few of them and went to Icery, and there Elistan healed a white bear who was being attacked by a pack of Capac Draconians. Now this bear was the protector of a tribe of ice folk, and after healing the bear, he met up with Rugart Canug, who was the shaman of the tribe. Rugart was instructed by his king to lead the group so they could fight and hopefully defeat the White Dragon Overlord. After an ensuing battle, they managed to defeat the Dragon Overlord, killing his wolves and his white dragons. And in the evening after the battle, Rugart sat down with Elistan and learnt by his feet all night long about the old gods, eventually becoming a priest of Habakkuk himself. After their trip to Icereach, Elistan joined the War Council on Sanskrit and helped guide them throughout the war and the conquest of the forces of evil. When the war finally died down, he moved out to Palanthas and brought with him his faithful. They erected a huge temple to Paladine and started teaching their faith to the world. In one fateful night, Dalamar came to him in a panic about Rislan Majer, who was having a bad fit. Elistan provided some comfort and aid to Rislan despite the obvious differences between them. After that instance, Dalamar's respect for the man grew, understanding that they may have differences, but they still are striving for the same goals. They sat in council with Tanis Half-Elven, discussing Rislin's plan to challenge the Dark Queen and become the new god of darkness. And when he finally fell ill from old age, Dalamar came to him and gave him a potion to ease his pain. As payment for Elistan's earlier help with Rislin, Elistan then gave Tanis a parchment to give to Cressiana that proclaimed her the next head of the temple. And in his final moments, Paladin himself came to him as Fizban to take him on his next part in his journey. I hope you enjoyed that video, guys, and we will see you in the next one. Have a lovely day.